What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are healthy and well. Welcome, all my new supporters. Can't forget about my new supporters. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, I bring to you all a highly recommended video. Today, we'll be reacting to the German military will become Europe's most powerful. Here is why. Original video link will be down below in the description. Really excited to react to this right here. I don't think we ever checked out Germany's military. Have we? I don't know if we have before, but I'm really excited. I feel like this is the first time. Let's jump right into this, man.
Fighter jets and helicopters that don't fly. Standard issue assault rifles that don't shoot straight. And shortages in ammunition, boots, and even underwear during a NATO mission in Lithuania.
Wait a minute. Let me run it back from the top.
Fighter jets and helicopters that don't fly. Standard issue assault rifles that don't shoot straight. And shortages in ammunition, boots, and even underwear during a NATO mission in Lithuania.
So this is like some of the problems? Is this some of the problems? Like, okay, so 70% of your aircraft cannot make it in the air. We don't shoot straight. So basically the vehicles are a little off or something. Something's wrong with them. Forgot to buy equipment. You guys are like, you have a shortage of ammunition? Am I overthinking this? Not our proudest moment. Okay, so that was basically a moment.
Shortages in ammunition, boots, and even underwear during a NATO mission in Lithuania. These are the headlines that the once feared German military are currently making. Not to mention the hundreds of millions of euros that went to consultants in an effort to clean up the army's mess, with very little to show for it. German high-ranking officials are raising their concerns, and so are NATO allies, where statements such as these are not uncommon. Ever since the Cold War ended in 1991, Germany has allowed its military to deteriorate. And this is somewhat understandable, as Germany was busy integrating the West with the East, which posed great economic and social challenges. Over the last 30 years, there was simply very little incentive to have a powerful military, as Germany doesn't share a border with potential aggressors like Russia. NATO, and especially the US, was there for protection, and unlike the US and the UK, Germany had very few overseas commitments, and there was very little appetite for a large military among the population, who still remember the horrors of World War II. But now, overnight, everything has changed. Only 3 days after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, made a shocking announcement, declaring that Germany will massively increase its defense spending and meet the 2% NATO benchmark. This was met by applause in Parliament, and surveys already show...
So I wasn't aware that, Germany had that same GDP issue that Canada actually is working on right now, where they were under that 2%. I wasn't really aware of that.
2% NATO benchmark.
Now this is not from like having a weak, should I say, an overall weak military or like weak people. It's more so not funding in your military or really doing as much as boosting it and this and that. Like ways to invest and expand the military and strengthen it, because it's not the main focus. Now there's some power countries like the US and, Russia, this and that. They're making sure that this stuff is kept up on top because it's what they have to flex, especially the US. Oh my gosh, the military is like the number one thing that's going to come up in any conversation with our president. Not too many countries really focus on that, They focus on good business, loyalty, not needing a massive weapon, this and that to intimidate, should I say, intimidate people and everything and get over. Nah. So I could definitely see why we will spend 2% of our GDP. Wait a minute. So that means that Germany is actually above the 2%. Maybe hold on. I'm glad maybe I'm understanding wrong. Wait.
The German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, made a shocking announcement, declaring that Germany will massively increase its defense spending and meet the 2% NATO benchmark. This was met...
Meet the 2% NATO benchmark, which means that you guys were under that 2% because you had to meet it. Okay, never mind. Right? We was on track, guys?
By applause in Parliament, and surveys already show that 75% of Germans support this decision. But how significant is this increase? Let's have a look at defense spending across the globe last year in 2021. As you can see, Germany spent $52.8 billion, sitting at 7th in the world ranking list, slightly ahead of France, but significantly behind the UK and Russia. But if we compare percentage of GDP, Germany ranks much lower. Of the 20 biggest military spenders, Germany comes in 15th, as they only spend 1.4% of their GDP on their army. Many have criticized this lack of spending, as it is far below the NATO target of 2%. However, once Germany hits the 2% target, things will look very different. Because of Germany's strong economy, military expenditure would rise to $76.12 billion, putting Germany into third place, ahead of Russia and the UK, making them the frontrunner within the EU and Europe by quite some distance. And German politicians have said as much, clearly stating that this is the intent. And it doesn't stop here. In an effort to modernize the military more quickly, Olaf Scholz has also dedicated a one-time special fund of over 100 billion euros to German defense. This is a lot of money, but spend doesn't necessarily equal military might. The UK, France, and Russia are still far ahead when it comes to military strength. Here we can see the comparison between these nations. While Germany does have a significant number of soldiers, aircraft, and tanks, it only has a very small presence on the sea. France and the UK do have a considerable navy, with multiple destroyers, submarines, and even 3 aircraft carriers in between them. And well, then there's Russia, who just has a lot of everything. As for nuclear weapons, in the aftermath of World War II, it was agreed that Germany cannot possess nuclear, biological, or chemical weapons. However, this comparison is somewhat incomplete and flawed, as it does not take into account military modernization, high-tech weapons, logistics, military experience, and intelligence. Whether Germany will become a military superpower also depends on how the money is spent. Scholz has already hinted at a high-level tech wish list, such as the F-35 fighter to replace older Tornado aircraft from the 1970s, the future combat air system, which is developing together with France, heavy transport helicopters, modernization of air defense missile systems, armed drones, modern warships, etc. However, as mentioned at the start of the video, Germany still seems to be getting the basics wrong. Only around 40% of helicopters and 65% of tanks are operational. And it gets even worse.
So is it just that Germany doesn't have enough money to fix this, or enough people, mechanics to actually fix this? Or did Germany never really have a reason to fix the rest of their aerospace, and only operational? I don't know. Should we say land vehicles? Aerospace and land vehicles, I guess I could say. Maybe you guys just didn't have a reason to actually invest into it because it was like, what do we have going on? Maybe we can invest into our economy or this or that or this or that. I mean, I understand. Or does Germany not have enough money to do that? It could be any of those 4 right there.
German percent of tanks are operational. And it gets even worse. A recent German parliamentary report found that only 50% of major military hardware is working properly. Therefore, money needs to be spent in getting existing equipment up and running first. And as you may remember from the start of the video, the German Bundeswehr has the reputation of wasting taxpayers' money. So, will Germany be existing equipment up and running first? And as you may remember from the start of the video, the German Bundeswehr has the reputation of wasting taxpayers' money. So, will Germany become the new European superpower? Possibly, but not until Germany cleans up its current mess and invests the new budget wisely. But next to the world's superpowers, such as the US and China, even with Germany's new budget, it remains a small player, as it spends way too little. And this really raises the question, does an EU army make sense? Check out the videos below to see the reasons for and against an EU army. And if you enjoy the content, please subscribe and like the video.
That's a good question. Does an EU army make sense?
New channel, and this will
original video link will be down below in the description. This was a great, amazing video. Please feel free to educate me down below in the comment section, guys. Please. There was just one question I had. There was just one little question I had. I believe I was actually on track. Germany has below that 2% GDP. In 2026, does Germany have below 2% GDP for their military do they actually have enough money, even before the budget they received? Do they have enough money to actually spend on their military to increase that percentage? Or no? I'm just or no at the end. Yeah, all right. It says, let's just see. Let's just see real quick. As of May 2026, Germany's military spending has surpassed the 2% GDP mark, continuing a significant upward trend that began after the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. For the 2026 fiscal year, Germany, am I saying that word right? Fiscal year? Germany is projected to spend approximately 2.83% of its GDP on defense. Wait a minute. So you guys surpassed. I don't know how long ago this video made was. But did I say that backwards? I don't know how long ago this video was made, but that's amazing. Germany surpassed that 2%. Cause I'm sitting here thinking like, really? But at the same time, it seemed like since Germany was talking about, well, now we're gonna boost ourselves. It seemed like you guys just didn't want to invest. You was holding out. Like, what's the reason? Doesn't mean you didn't have the funding to do it. That's what it was seeming like throughout the video. And I was just trying to understand that. I'm glad I looked that up. I'm so glad I looked that up. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications on. Share your honest thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Educate us all. Feel free to follow my Twitch and subscribe to all my other YouTube channels down below in the description. Flood my comment section with more videos for us to react to, man. Seriously. This is one of the educational ones. I love you all so much. Stay safe, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.